And we're back. Welcome back. The summer series of Founders Scholarship Fund. I am so excited to be here with both of you today. First, Ariel Prince, really in charge of our Founders Scholarship Fund. So, Ariel, welcome to Stories from the River.
Thank you.
And a longtime listener, probably has the most appearances on our Stories from the River podcast. This will naturally already get probably over 1,000 views because it'll be hashtag Heather Greenwood. The
That was all my husband.
yeah. Hey, he exactly. I love it. Welcome back, Heather Greenwood. Thank you guys so much.
Welcome to Stories from the River, a show in which we go behind the scenes at Broad River Retail.
The time just flies by. I feel like we just did this. We just did this, and now we're back. It's summer. The boys are in camps already, and here we are. Here we are, recording some episodes, and I'm really, really excited about this summer series because we've got some really exciting people, memory makers, and children of memory makers to talk to. But Ariel, I think is this your first Stories from the River podcast?
It is. It's my first podcast appearance.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, well, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for all that you do. Let me start there because this program, it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of coordination.
Yes.
But you do it so well. You put together such great summaries for all of us. But more importantly, I hear from the recipients and how great the process was. And so thank you for that. But tell us more about, we'll get into it, but tell us more about the fund, managing it, kind of walking through the process. What are some of your favorite parts about it?
Founders Scholarship Fund, I think I was asked to take it over my second year at Broad River.
Okay.
And I was so excited to do it. It's probably the most excited I've been about a project besides maybe when I did ops orientation.
Oh, okay.
And I just love the opportunity to work in the academic space because that's something that's always been near and dear to me.
Sure.
So like coming from my educational background, I wanted to like give the opportunity to people who maybe were pursuing higher education for the first time or hopping back into it to get a good chance to get off on the right foot financially and just have that support. So
yeah, I love that. So you have a passion for it. I mean, Founder Scholarship Fund, not quite as, ops. Shout out to all of our memory makers and ops.
I love ops.
You got a fan here in Ariel. I like that. Love hearing that. Big fan of ops. Tim Klaus, all of our ops leaders, big fan of those otters out there in Fort Mill and Bruins and Spartan Ridge and our friend the Falcons out in Four Oaks. Those are not just their spirit animals, but those are their identities, their logos. You've heard about this in Stories from the River. So thanks for shout out there. But also it's really cool because, as you said, like you got a natural connection to the academia world. And now you get to kind of help folks. I mean, and that is something that we see and we hear about on these applications is all about like, it's expensive.
Yes, very.
It's expensive. And so what are some of the questions that you get as you're kind of guiding folks through this process?
Well, I'm actually happy to say we don't get a lot of questions.
No questions.
Some people may think, oh, that's not a good thing. Like you need to get the feedback, but I would credit that to having a really seamless application process. So we do get when is the due date, or can this apply to any type of higher education, which it pretty much can. But usually people are pretty the application instructions are pretty clear from the get-go. Yeah. So it's really seamless. It's virtual. We have the essay components and the short answer components, and then just a little bit of background about your extracurriculars. But people usually handle it pretty well. It's not that many questions you receive.
Love it. Heather, I can't believe that this is the 4th year that we've done this. I think back to 2019 when we were kind of thinking about a Founder Scholarship Fund, what it might look like. I mean, looking back, what are some of your fondest memories? Like, what do you think about the program, where it's been and where it's going?
I remember when we launched it in 2019, and I remember being in the training room, which seems like a really long time ago, which it was, in the training room and presenting those checks for the very first time. And then my good friend Chelsea ran the program. And I remember then in the training room that day thinking about, like, these are the things We talk about furnishing life's best memories. And so I always think about that and what we do every day. How do we do that? And Founders is exactly that. And so to see these winners and then watch them over the years, we were talking about Jordan Harris earlier. Yeah. We talk to Anita all the time where I was like, how's Jordan? What's Jordan doing? We know she's really busy. Now she's like, a grown adult and she's doing all these amazing things. We feel like we really know Jordan. Yeah. We don't, but we've watched her grow. We see her mom's excitement. And so I think that's what's really special, whether it be a memory maker or a child of. I think those bonds that we see, those relationships we get to see, and that really that excitement from the parent. This year, an exciting call that I got to make. I'm a big raving fan, and I think I've said it on the podcast before, of Allie Webb. And she works on our finance team, and she's such a great partner to me. And when I got to make the call and called Jenna, her daughter, she was just like Allie, just exactly what I imagined, her excitement and her gratitude and her passion, to connect mom and daughter. Oh, that was such an awesome experience. I told my family about it at home and how special it was. And so I just think it's those moments that make it so special. And then really handing it over to Ariel. She makes the program so much better. Every year, we could easily just say, we'll do it again. She never does that. She always comes and says, hey, Heather, it could be easier if. Or, you know what, I didn't quite like that short answer. What do you think about this? And so every year on the inside, it gets better. Outside, you might not know that, but every year she's building it to make it as easy as possible, as seamless, and really making sure her hope, and what I hear a lot is, does everyone know about it? How are we communicating it, especially to our friends in ops who don't have email? So how are we posting it? How are we communicating? And she will follow up leader after leader after leader. Do they know? Do they know? Do they know? What can I do? And so I think that drive of the program has grown it year over year, where it is very much today a part of who we are.
Yeah, I love that. What a great recap of what our intention was, right? I mean, it's called the Founders Scholarship Fund because it's a nod. It's in honor of our two founders, Jonathan Ishii and Jackson Moore. Big fans of this podcast. I know they're listening right now.
2 more views.
2 more views. Thank you. We're up for it's almost, what is viral these days?
I think you got to get 1 million at this point with TikTok in the picture. Maybe 100,000.
Do you think, Brian, you think we can get lots of, how long would that take that'd take a lot?
I mean, that might take a while. He does have a job, but
he does have a job. But so we launched this Founders Scholarship Fund in their honor because we knew how important and the commitment to further in education, whether it be for memory makers, whether it be for the children of memory makers, was to them and is to us. And of course, it made sense to give this program to a leader who really embodies everything that we do or try to do around culture. And Heather, and I'm not surprised that Heather, of course, has tapped you, Ariel, to do this because it has gotten better. Not just maybe seamless on the process side, but I mean the quality of the responses, the seamlessness of the process. I mean, it is. I feel like every year it just gets a little bit better and better, and I'm so appreciative of that.
Echoing what Heather said about the making sure everyone has equal accessibility. Equity is a big thing for me when it comes to any program I have a hand in. So knowing that every department can be represented in the applicant pool at the bare minimum, that's perfect for me. But then also to hopefully see if they all get awarded between the different departments. And of course, you can't manufacture that sort of result, but you can try to get as close to getting that representation as possible. So everyone has a chance to really take part in a program that's going to pretty much change their life. So
absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Let's talk about the changes and the impact. I think about the 32 scholarship recipients that have been impacted. I think about over 250,000. Do I have that right?
Yes.
$250,000 that have been awarded to folks to continue their education. And just the amazing stories that are out there. I mean, Jordan is a great example. I mean, she's out there teaching now, right? Kaya, another amazing example, nursing, really has a heart for giving back. And, we have some folks that are continuing on with their with their MBA. I think you'll hear from Mark Dooley a little bit about that. We've got some folks that are going into, just tackling big topics. Melanie, who
mental health.
Yeah, mental health, and so she's diving and has a heart for really helping others. So going to kind of learn herself so that she can take that education and go help others. Like wow, like when I think about furnishing life's best memories, like it's like a multiplier. Like how cool is that, Heather?
It's different when you see it, and you see it firsthand. You talk about these people. We talk about Melanie, who makes such an impact. I think about Mark, who I've known for several years, and watch him take this next step. Or, a personal favorite of ours, we work with Emmeline every day.
That's right.
And so as we've watched her take part in the scholarship program, and she's our teammate and our peer, and we watch what she's doing with it, is incredible to see her growth both at Broad River and outside of Broad River, and know like we had a small hand in that. We helped her continue what's been a lifelong dream for her. And so you hear that a lot in these calls or these interactions, and even on the podcast, is it is life-changing. And so it is creating memories that may not have happened without our small part in it.
That's right. That's great. Okay, so and shout out to Emmeline. Again, another great story. Started with us as an intern.
As did Ariel.
As did, super interns.
Yeah.
Like super interns.
And we went to the same university at the same time, but didn't know each other, which is still a weird fun fact about us.
You want to give Winthrop a shout out here?
Yeah, I went to Winthrop for undergrad for business administration and economics. So yeah, me and Emmeline were there at the same time.
Let's go.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. So having, knowing all that, let's think about, Ariel, you a lot less than Heather and I, but let's think about our college experience. Let's go back. So, what were some of your fondest, think about a class that you just loved in college?
That's a good question. I have an answer already.
Go, you
already?
go first.
Yeah.
It's very fresh for her.
Well, thank you, Heather. Yeah, it is very fresh. That's well said.
So I had elective courses just like everyone has in university, and I wanted to kind of think outside of the box. I was part of the honors program at Winthrop, and they encouraged you to explore outside of your degree path. So I did world religions, and I did what was the other one? Human nutrition. So totally out of my degree path, but so interesting to me. The religion professor, he just loved my papers, and I was just like, I know I wrote a really good paper. Like, I know you love me. But it was fantastic because I also ended up taking a class on the Synoptic Gospels, and just did some deep dives on that, which may not sound like so fun.
I didn't know that they didn't have those classes.
Yeah, it was super cool. So totally, I was a business person through and through, but I just enjoyed, of course, the part of me that just loves to learn is my favorite part was learning extra stuff I didn't actually need to learn in school, but that's what I really enjoyed.
It's exactly what I thought you would say.
Yeah.
Very fitting for who you are.
Okay, well, my answer is going to be a lot less. Heather,
I would say a lot of my best memories from college did not happen in the classroom. I went to Michigan State University. I felt like those were some of the best years of my life. Just that's when I truly kind of came into who I was. I was very shy and quiet and just very, very scared of life when I went to college. And when I went to college, I learned to be who I am, and I learned to try different things and become more comfortable in who I am. I was an apparel, textile, and design major. As you can see, that serves me very well today in my role. But I took a lot of design courses. I took a lot of textile courses, which I always enjoyed. But what surprised me most, and kind of those core classes you have to take, anyone who knows me knows I'm terrible at math, but I am great at statistics. So I remember taking a stats class, and for some reason it just clicked with me, and I loved it, and I looked forward to it, and it was super early in the morning, but it was just something I didn't expect to like that I did, and I naturally just found my rhythm there.
Love that. All right. Well, and now we know why Heather's really good friends with Allie Webb in finance. So she's.
I think my side calling is to work with my friends in finance.
Okay.
I also love Bill and Hal and Sarah and April.
Wow.
So.
Bill's a big fan of the pod, and he might be you might be reaching out. You might be reaching out.
A lot of love for that team.
Go Finance.
I don't know that I can do as great as what they do because they're spectacular at what they do, but
they are spectacular. Big shout out to Finance and the Knights of the Ledger.
That's correct.
They are amazing. Love that. So just hearing both of those responses, what resonated there with me as well is like, it's just kind of like knowing kind of what you like, and then, but also being open to kind of, I can think about internships. Like my internships were probably one of my fondest memories throughout college because, I mean, they weren't all great, but it definitely helped kind of get a bit more precise on kind of, okay, once school's over, here's where I kind of would like prefer to go. And so you kind of get to test the culture of companies, that the work that you kind of would do. And so like, I love, I'm a huge supporter and fan of just go internships. And with internships, like try some things that you probably typically wouldn't be open to try or wouldn't try because it's going to help develop you. And so I love interns. I love our interns and what they're doing for us. And what a great story, Ariel, that you started as an intern, just like Emmeline. I think we're going to hear from Joey Limekuhler, who's an intern with us as well, doing some great things on the business analytics. So we have a lot of content coming up. Last year, we asked all of our recipients kind of what they're, cramming for finals, like what's their go-to snack. So we got to get that.
I do remember that. From
you do remember yours?
I'm going to say the most boring snack. And is that what you're going to ask?
Yeah. Well, what's the snack? What's the snack of choice as you're cramming for that stats exam, which you're going to ace, Heather?
I didn't have to cram.
You didn't have to cram.
Natural gift.
What's that favorite snack?
Okay, go. Now I got to hear the boring snack.
Oh, I got to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I changed my diet in college, so I didn't eat it. I used to eat a lot worse than I eat now. So if I had to put myself back in those shoes now, and I was cramming for something, like I was cramming for a work project. Let's put it like that.
Okay.
Like, it's gonna be so boring. I would probably make a matcha.
Who?
A matcha.
Who?
What? When? Where? A matcha, like a matcha latte, green tea. All right. Yeah, I'll probably
make one for Manny.
Yeah, I'll make one for Manny.
Our listeners love a matcha.
You would love it. You would love it. And then as far as like the food component, I love a nice crunchy chip. This is like horrible. I feel like anyone who watches this will be like cringing, but I love honey mustard Pringles.
Oh.
I know.
But you also love the honey barbecue Frito.
You remember? Yeah. That was a thing back in the day too. Anything with like a honey essence to it, I do enjoy that.
I like honey in my tea. Maybe does honey go well in the matcha?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well,
matcha, honey, some oat milk, and you just kind of whip it up.
Okay. All right. Well,
I feel like that's right up your alley. Yeah. You would love that.
I would love
it.
Yeah.
All right. We'll try it. Heather, what was your favorite snack?
I'm always like a sour and salty type of person. Yeah. So for me, it's always a mix. Pretzels and Sour Patch Kids. Always. Like you need the nice balance.
Yeah.
Even today, that's like a little bit of a stressor thing for me is like when Sour Patch Kids come out. It's not a good, that's like,
Good to know.
Is it any sour gummy or specifically
Sour Patch Kids?
Interesting.
Yes. Not the watermelons.
Oh, no.
Not the Sour
real
Patch
kids
adults.
And the red ones are the best. My kids like the watermelon ones.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
But red Sour Patch Kids are the best ones.
So that's fun. Really, really fun. In closing, memory makers, children of memory makers that are watching this for next year, and again, I love the fact that, every year we have such a strong outpouring of applicants that come in. And it's really amazing to kind of read through these essays. Like they do a great job.
They do.
What advice would you give them who might be nervous about applying, who might be nervous about the process? So what advice would you give them about applying to this, and maybe give them some more information on when the application process will start and all that?
Well, the first bit of advice is, if you don't get it the first time around, please apply again.
There you go.
It just so happens that we can't always accept every application for an award. We have to pick like the top ranking each year, but just because you didn't make, and that doesn't just go for our scholarship, it can go for anything. I feel like that's a life lesson for people entering adulthood is like, try again. But also for the ones who are interested in applying or reapplying, because we do offer the scholarship as you continue out your college journey, I would definitely say make sure that you're connecting with what you're writing. So if you're filling out an essay and you don't resonate with the own words on your paper, maybe you need to rethink, not to make it a deeper psychological conversation, but is what I'm writing about something I'm super passionate about? Do I need to reassess what I have to make sure that I'm putting pen to paper the best answer that represents who I want to be at university, who I currently am at university, because I can't speak for you all as being part of the scoring committee, but I can say that you all can probably resonate with the papers who you can tell they resonate with their own words. Mm-hmm. So I would say put careful thought into that. And honestly, yeah, just like go outside of the box with your responses too. You don't have to be cookie cutter. Like be yourself. I love people who are themselves when they do anything. So just go for it with yourself.
Be yourself. Yeah. Love that. And when will they, so for next year, you'll start maybe hearing about it in the beginning of the year?
Yeah. So sometimes we usually will tease it towards the end of March or the end of February. And then applications go live in March. So it'll help you get funded through the upcoming school year starting in August, and it'll get your funds dispersed and you'll be well prepared. And the cool thing about the Founder Scholarship is that it can go towards anything. So tuition, room and board, instead of just segmented towards just your room and board or just classes or tuition. So there you go. It's a very all-inclusive program.
That's awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Ariel. Heather, parting advice for memory makers or children of memory makers?
I've read a lot of essays, and I would say the be yourself is really important. Sometimes you read an essay and you're so compelled as you're reading it that you feel like you're there and you're with that person. And part of when I read them and I'm scoring them, like, oh my gosh, who is this? I have to know who this person is. It's that good. I feel like I know them through the paper and the questions that Ariel has created year over year. I feel even more connected to these people, and I may or may not ever meet them in person, but to read stories and essays from the heart, you can tell immediately in that first line or two lines, like, wow, this person is going to make a big difference in the world. And sometimes I read them, and as a parent, sometimes I read them like, I hope my kid grows up that way. And someday Graham writes an essay like this, because they're just so touching and they're so moving. Said. But when they're real, you can feel that through the paper.
Yeah. Authenticity. I love that. Be yourself.
And if I can add, like, I don't know if it's the newer generations, like I know millennials are getting older. I'm like the last year of the millennial, but a lot of the Gen Z, and I guess, what is it, Gen Alpha that's coming up next? Those are the babies right now, I think, right? Gen Alpha? I don't know. Okay.
The Gen Alpha is definitely big matcha fan.
Well, maybe not.
Maybe not.
But I noticed, like, just skimming through their applications, that they're so passionate about very specific purpose points and stuff like that. So I feel like even when I was the college age, that people weren't very motivated by personal things they wanted to achieve to make the world a better place. And that's why I say, I don't know if it's generational, but I feel like a lot of the people applying have things that they really want to do to improve the world. And I'm happy to see them get that help and assistance in funding that as they go through their academic journey.
That's really cool. Yeah. That's really, really cool. Well, guys, we have an exciting season ahead of us all summer long. Well, in this case, it'll be several weeks long, that we get to hear more stories from some of our current winners, past winners, just checking in. Thank you. The Founders Scholarship Fund is in good hands. It is in great hands, Ariel. Thank you so much for just pouring into it, continuously making it better, and making it really comfortable for our memory makers and their children of memory makers to apply to this. So really, really appreciate that. Heather, great to have you back.
Thanks for having me.
I'm sure you're probably booked here for more episodes.
Take a hiatus, maybe.
Get you a little vacation.
Maybe take a little break. Maybe Ariel can fill in.
You.
There you go. See,
I feel like I could get in the interview seat. Like, I feel like that would be a fun spot for me.
We can switch it up.
Don't say that too hard. Charlie is listening somewhere.
He is listening right now. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, folks, thank you so much. I'm excited to be with you for this summer series, highlighting the benefits and really all the amazing things that our Founders Scholarship Fund has to offer. As Heather and Ariel mentioned, it truly pegs to our purpose of furnishing life's best memories. And these stories really just highlight it. And I'm so thankful to be able to facilitate and talk through some of these stories with our winners, past winners, current winners, and just all of our memory makers. Thank you again. Have a great summer.
Thanks for listening to Stories from the River. To check out more episodes, visit storiesfromtheriver.com. Join us again next week, and remember to like, rate, and subscribe to the podcast.